all those Bible stories and prophecies and story of Jesus originated from the ancient polytheistic religions and beliefs, and I'll say it again. I'm not saying that what the Bible says is a lie. It's all if if the ancient religions had already wrote these stories down before the Bible was written, then it's all true. It just backs it up. It just. Also, I want to talk about, well, even the Quran. But the Quran, I believe, Muhammad was a prophet, really was a prophet, but he might have copied those stories from the ancient religions and whatnot. Uh, but they state in the Quran, you can also read it yourself or research it, study it. They Muslims believe, that Jesus will come back and kill the Antichrist. They call him the Dajjal, and not only that, he will kill Christians and Jews. But there's a lot of stories that they believe in Jesus. They make no mistake about it. I've seen videos where they say that they believe in Jesus. They believe he's the prophet. They believe that he's gonna come back. Again. But he's gonna come back to kill Jews and Christians. That's what they believe. That's what the Quran says. So they also believe in all the Old Testament prophets. They regard, the Old Testament prophets. But they don't, believe that they are the chosen. And why they believe that is because they came from the garden. They more or less were the first born, in the Garden of Eden. They're the children of Adam and Eve. The firstborn. So that's why they believe the way they believe. That's why they don't like the Jews, because they weren't, more or less, they were, and the Sumerian text does also talk about Cain and Abel, and how Cain killed Abel, and they are the children of Cain. That's the truth. But as I said before, the Garden of Eden was not and never was located, as I used to think it was located in Israel, but it's not. It was never located in Israel. It was in Iraq. That's and I was surprised to find that out. Like, wow. And everybody's still looking for the Garden of Eden, but the Tigris and Euphrates River are still, today, they still exist, So also the Norse, prophecies of the old end times, they have prophecies that the world's gonna end, and after the world ends, Adam and Eve are going to, the Garden of Eden is going to reappear, and the tree of life will be in the Garden of Eden, and Adam and Eve will reappear, and they'll have a chance to start over again, to rewrite the mistake that they made. They'll have a chance to make it right. So, and they worship many gods. The Norse worshipped many gods. They were polytheistic. They were not monotheistic, like Jews and Christians are, and Muslims. By the way, the Muslim religion, or Islam, is the youngest, probably the youngest religion, alongside with Catholicism. And it's the youngest religion there is, on earth. One of the youngest religions. But everything, like as I said before, and I'll say it again, everything that the Bible has written in it derived from these old ancient beliefs, because the Jews, wherever they were held prisoner, studied those religions, copied them, and wrote them down in the Torah, and the disciples, or Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John copied the stories from Buddhism, Hinduism, and what all other the Greek and the Roman religions. The stories of Buddha, dying, and or whatever. They just copied it, but it doesn't mean that it's not true. It just means that they just copied it. Who knows when it happened? Nobody can really prove when everything happened that the Bible talks about. And nobody can prove it. Bible scholars can't prove it, but they say that the New Testament was written 100 years or more after Jesus supposedly died, and I probably said that before. So they weren't actually they didn't actually witness Jesus' death. So that's why they say they can't prove whether or not Jesus did live and die, But as I said before, the stories of Buddha and Hare Krishna, which could have been prophecies of Jesus being born and dying on a cross, that's where they got it from, And I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying that's not true. It probably is, But they were prophecies. They were foretelling the birth and the death of, you could say, Buddha or Hare Krishna. To the Buddhists, Jesus was Buddha, could be Buddha, and to the Hindus, Jesus can be Hare Krishna, but they're prophets. They could be prophecies, prophesying that Jesus, who could be Buddha or Hare Krishna, was going to be born of a virgin, and and three kings would or three wise men would come and see him, and he would start his ministry at 12 years old, and have 12 disciples. God has 12 gods, or council, in heaven, things like that. Zeus as well, had 12 lesser gods, under his command, and so on, So that's what I, found out after researching. That's what I learned.